So one of the best things about the Scream franchise is all the different characters. Over the 6 movies that there have been, they're always packed with just these amazing characters. Honestly, that's like the main driving thing of Scream more than the mystery, is the fact that the characters are so lovable. Also, because of how these movies work, where they're murder mysteries and all of the characters usually end up dying by the end of them, it's really sad to see them go, but that also means that you get to meet so many new characters to each movie, which creates for a very different feel with each movie, because you just have a completely different set of people who act very differently depending on what movie you're in. So I thought it'd be fun to rank the 10 best characters no matter what movie they're in, no matter how long they last in the franchise, because there are some really great characters in Scream, and they deserve to be shouted out for that. So I'm going to be naming the 10 that I think are the best, but if you have one that I don't name, because there are so many people I'm not able to include because there's definitely more than 10 good characters in this franchise, let me know what your list is. I actually found it really difficult to make this list because there's so many people I wanted to include, but either I just felt like they didn't have enough screen time, or they had like bad moments or something, which I guess the screen time doesn't actually fit in because the one I start off with has like no screen time, but there's still a top 10 character. So this could definitely like go any way. Like there's so many different ways that you could rank this.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Who is this?
Who are you trying to reach?
What number is this?
What number are you trying to reach?
I don't know.
Well, I think you have the wrong number.
Do I?
It happens. Take it easy.
Starting it off with my number 10 spot of the best Scream characters is Casey Becker, which is kind of funny because she doesn't really have any screen time at all, and there are other characters who aren't on this list who are main characters, but I think Casey Becker is a top 10 character. She has the best scene in the entire franchise, in my opinion. The fact that you think she's the main character and then she ends up not being is like one of the best things I think they've ever done in the entire franchise. The acting is top notch, the character is top notch. It's the first time we ever get to see Ghostface, which is just iconic. And there's really nothing negative I can say about the scene or the character herself. I think she is one of the best characters to come out of Scream. I think she's the first character that you might think of besides Sidney Prescott, and I think she deserves to be on the top 10 best characters in the franchise for sure. The only reason she's in spot number 10 is because she only has 15 minutes of screen time. So unfortunately she didn't get more, which I would have loved to see, but I think what she had was enough.
Who gave you a place to stay? Who are you supposed to be protecting?
Jennifer?
Hey! My lawyer liked that.
At number 9, I have Jennifer Jolie. I think she's the most unique character I have on this list just because she's not like an actual person. Like she's kind of a joke. But I feel like she is what makes Scream 3 not a bad movie. There's a lot of reasons I don't like Scream 3. It's kind of an interesting movie, but I think she makes it so much fun to watch. She's so likable and unlikable at the same time in the best way. And for what that movie is supposed to be, she is the epitome of what a good character for that movie would be. I'm so upset that she ends up dying in this movie because I would have loved to see her continue on through the franchise, but I understand why they did that. She probably wouldn't have fit very well in any of the other movies besides Scream 3, so I think that was a good movie for this kind of character to be in. And her relationship with Gale is just top notch. I mean, they are just the best duo in this movie. As stupid of a character as she is, I just felt like she deserved to be talked about on this list because she is just too funny to forget.
Oh, you want to play psycho killer? Can I be the helpless victim? Okay, let's see. No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
At number 8, I have Tatum Riley. I think she's my favorite friend character that they've ever had. They always have like a best friend of the main character, and I think she's the best of all of those. Tatum doesn't have a lot of screen time because she's only in the first movie, and honestly, she's not in it that much. Like, I feel like she only has a couple scenes, but whenever she is on screen, she owns every scene she's in. She's got, again, one of the best scenes in the entire first movie, where it's like just the one you think of when you think of Scream, and besides that, that she's really quotable, she's funny, and she's a good, like, suspect, because I remember suspecting her to being the killer while watching that movie. So like I'm saying with some of these other ones that are low, I kind of wish she had been in more. I wish she had made it to the second movie, but I think she was good for what she was supposed to be. And her moments that she does have and her garage door kill will never not be iconic.
My name is Samantha Carpenter. I was attacked last night at the hospital. The night before that, my sister was stabbed 7 times. I know you know what that's like. I'm just trying to protect my family.
At number 7, I have Samantha Carpenter. I think Samantha Carpenter is a really good lead. I like that she's very different from Sidney, that it's a very different journey that we get to watch her go through during her 2 Scream movies. I don't think her character is as well thought out and refined as Sidney's is, but I definitely really enjoy watching her character, especially in Scream 6. I think that's her better movie. I think her relationship with Tara makes me like her character more because she has to sit there and protect Tara from what's going on, and I think that's a really fun dynamic to get to watch. Spoilers, Samantha Carpenter is the only character from the newer movies, Scream 2022 and Scream 6, to be on this list, and I think out of the newer movies and those new characters, she is my favorite character of all of them. Part of it's her being the lead, part of it's her having the same name as me, I'm not gonna lie, but I really do think that she has a good character arc through her 2 movies, and I really like her relationship with Billy Loomis, even though he's literally not alive. I think they did a good job with that, and I think she's a fun character to watch, and she's a great lead.
Please.
Surprise, Sidney.
At number 6, I have the first killer on the list. I have Stu Macher. I think that his character is just so unique, especially being a killer. I don't think I've ever met someone who doesn't like Stu as a character. Like, it's really hard to not like him. He's got a really great thing going for him just with the fact that he's played by Matthew Lillard. It's really hard to not like his characters, but I think he's one of the most unique ghost faces in the sense of that his personality doesn't change before he's unmasked and after he's unmasked, and I think his partnership with Billy, where Billy is much different than he is, and he's just like really weird. Billy's more dark. I think that dynamic between them two really helps Stu and makes him a better side killer. I don't think any killer duo has been better than Stu and Billy. I think that'd be really hard to do, but like part of the reason for that is because Stu is such a good secondary killer, and he just owns every scene he's in before you know he's the killer, and then he ends up being the killer, and that makes it even better. Stu is definitely a memorable character, and it's hard to not have him on the list of best characters after watching Scream, so.
You don't know the rules?
Have an aneurysm, why don't you?
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
At number 5, I have Randy Meeks. I feel like he just fills like such a needed spot in a Scream movie where you've got the person who knows everything, who knows the rules, the nerd guy. Like, I feel like that's just such a necessary part of this movie, and he just does that part so well. Like, I feel like that could be a really boring character, and I think Randy is not boring, which is good. I think they did a good job of making him more fun than he probably should be, but I think that really shows to how well they've written these characters, and how like the nerd guy is also like just a fun character to watch. Like, all of his lines, he's got so many great lines in the movie, so many great moments. Like, it's really hard to not like Randy. I feel like I'm saying that about all these characters, but it's hard to watch these characters and not like them. Like, I haven't met anyone, I don't think, who doesn't like Randy as well. He's got one of the better scenes in Scream 1 where he's telling the rules of a horror movie, which is just like so much fun. Like, that scene is so great. And I'm glad Randy got to be in Scream 2 and Scream 3 technically, even though he was killed off too early. But I think he had enough in the franchise to where he made the impact that he could make, and I'm glad that he got to have future characters in the franchise who are his descendants and live up to his name, kind of. Not as much as him, but still a little bit.
Sid.
I am sorry if my traumatized life is an inconvenience to you and your perfect existence.
What? Nobody said that.
Sid!
stupid.
At number 4, I have Billy Loomis, probably the world's favorite Ghostface out of all of them. He is just unmatched. One thing I really like about Billy is that he is so much in the movie and he's so in your face and it makes you think that it's not him, but then it does end up being him. I think the way that that character is played and you kind of don't trust him, but you're not really sure why because he's just weirdly creepy, is done really well, and I don't think they've copied that with another killer since him. It's kind of funny because Billy Loomis himself isn't that likable of a person. Like, he's kind of like a bad dude. Like, not even with the killer, just like in general, he's a bad dude. But he's just kind of a fun character. Like, it's fun to watch him throughout Scream and see his dynamic with Sidney, and I think that that is one of the best characters in the franchise for sure.
He's just something I got stuck with a long time ago.
Well, I like it. Sexy.
Sexy. It's just this town's way of not taking me serious.
These next 3 are going to be so predictable, but it's totally fine. At number 3, I have Dewey Riley. I think he became a bigger character than anyone could have expected because he was like the side cop in the first movie, and then he just like grew into this legend that he is. He is just what you think of when you think of a likable character. Like, he is just so likable. He doesn't really do anything that wrong. He's just too sweet. One thing that really works for Dewey is his relationships with other people. Obviously his relationship with Gale, but also Sidney, his sister, Randy. Like, he has all of these great relationships with people, and that's what makes him so much fun to watch, is that he is just so kind and supportive to all of these different people in different ways. I think Dewey kind of flies under the radar with some of the other characters who are a little bit more in your face than he is, but he's definitely one of the best characters. He definitely grew on me through every movie, and unfortunately he died in Scream 5, but I'm glad he got to live as long as he did.
It'd be stupid to pull this movie. With all this free press, they're gonna have huge numbers this weekend. It'll break box office records. Consider it done.
At number 2 is Gale Weathers. Again, same thing as Dewey. Like, she became a way bigger character than I think anyone could have ever guessed. I feel like she's really suspicious in the first movie. Like, I definitely thought that she might be the killer in the first movie. And then throughout the franchise, she just becomes like one of the main heroes. And it's really great to watch that. I think Gale has the best arc out of any character in the entire franchise, not only because she is the only one in every movie, but she just grows so much. Like, some of the other characters don't change that much, and Gale changes so much while still staying rooted in who she is, but she just grows so much, and that's really fun to see. I love watching her and Sidney's relationship change in every movie. I think that's really great. Obviously, I love watching her and Dewey's relationship change in every movie because that's great. And she is just such a dynamic character. Like, it's unbelievable to see how much depth that character was able to get throughout all of the movies. I think she does have the most depth out of any character in the franchise, and even though she's a little bit of not the nicest person, she's just so lovable in such a weird way. Like, she's just so great. Some honorable mentions before I say the number 1 spot. I have Kirby Reed, because I really like her in Scream 4. I don't really like her as much in Scream 6, but I do think that she was so great in Scream 4 and such a great character, and it was nice to see her come back and see what had happened since Scream 4. I have Tara Carpenter because I think that she's also a really great character. I really don't like her in Scream 6, which is why she didn't make the list, but her dynamic with Sam is really, really great, and I love seeing that sister bond. I have Jill Roberts because I think her twist is just so great, but the character itself is like kind of boring for like a majority of the movie, so I don't think it's right to say she's one of the best characters. While it needed to be boring, it just was really boring, so that I feel like isn't good enough to qualify for the top 10 Scream characters. She would be on my top 10, like, personal, but like if I'm looking at it as a whole, like, I'm not gonna be that biased when, like, honestly, she's kind of boring. And then I also have Richie Kirsch because I think he is probably the best Ghostface to come out of the newer movies. I liked how much he was in the movie. I liked how, like, much control he had over Sam and how he used that, and then his unmasking and his performance post unmasking is really, really well done.
So, who are you?
The question isn't, who am I? The question is, where am I?
So where are you?
Your front porch.
And the number one best character in the Scream franchise, no question, is Sidney Prescott. She is Scream. Like, she is the Scream Queen. You can't argue with that. Sidney does also have a really good arc. While I don't think she changes as much as Gale does, she definitely grows through everything. Like, she's the one going through all of this crap. She's the one having to face Ghostface every time. Ghostface is always trying to find her. She's the main target, and she has to deal with that, and it's not fair. But she does, and she grows through it, and like, by the time you see her in Scream 5, she's literally so over it that Ghostface is running away from her. So that's really fun to watch. I think they knew where they were going with Sidney Prescott, and they absolutely killed it in that sense. Scream is just not Scream without Sidney Prescott, and that Scream 6 was lacking that a little bit because she was not in it, but I'm glad that she's coming back for Scream 7 because she is the greatest character to come from this franchise, no doubt. This was probably the easiest placement I had of this entire list, so. But anyway, that's my short and sweet list of the top 10 characters to come from the Scream franchise. There are so many great ones that I couldn't even cover because I just had to put all of the legends on the list because, like, I'm not allowed to do anything else. But that's how it should be because they are legends for a reason. The characters are definitely the best thing in these movies because it's just so much fun to analyze, to watch them grow, watch their character arcs, watch how they change from the events that are going on, which are really terrible events going on. It's just so much fun to rank and analyze them. Like, that is just a great time. But Sidney Prescott will probably never lose any of these because she is the best character and no one has ever been able to match her on that. So that's great for her. Anyway, I think that's all. Okay, bye.